For me, I think I became my strongest when I admitted where my weaknesses were. That I admitted to who I was because I lived in this place where I didn't know how to be who I was and fit in masculine wise. Like I would sometimes go to hyper masculinity in order to fit in. And being emotionally available and being emotionally resilient is acknowledging what some of these problems are. You know, I struggled with masculinity a lot because I didn't have an example of what a man was supposed to be. And I was trying to figure it out while being raised by a woman. And that was something that I don't think I ever mentioned to anybody until I was in my 40s because I was so afraid of what people were going to think about me. So when I said that I stopped going to therapy in sixth grade, it was because I was so embarrassed by a teacher coming in and having to pull me out of class and me having to explain what was going on. And, you know, I knew that I was a kid that liked to cry. And it just made me feel so different that I just shoved it down instead of acknowledging that I was having these feelings and going to seek help to work them out. And I think there are so many men that are afraid to look weak. They're afraid that they're not going to be looked at as powerful or as successful, or that they're not as mentally strong if they admit they have some sort of mental illness or are struggling in any way. So I think that I learned that I'm much more normal than I gave myself credit for. And I say normal in a sense of there are many more men that are going through or have gone through what I've been through or have the same feelings that I have. And it wasn't until it's like 2017, I made a Facebook post because I've been very blessed in my life. I've carved out a great career. Put myself in a position that I never dreamed I would be in. And I kept thinking that all of these accomplishments were going to somehow now make me happy, that they were going to envelop all these feelings that I had and make them go away, right? That I was going to feel respected, that I would feel successful. And I didn't feel any of those things. It made me feel like more of an imposter. And it's because I just never learned how to cope with the trauma that I had as a kid. And so I made a post on Facebook one day just talking about how, you know, you guys get to see, I call them my sports center highlights, you know, the great dinner I went to or the event I went to last week. And it looks great, but I struggle every single day. And I made the post on a whim and I was shocked at the responses that I got back. I mean, there must have been 200 responses of people saying, I've never talked about this before. I'm glad you're talking about it.